can't control the waves, but you can learn how to ride them. And trust me, I've swallowed enough seawater to know. A couple of years ago, I lost a job I really loved. At first, I was crushed. I spent days thinking, why me? What now? But one morning, I saw a street musician playing his guitar in the rain, completely drenched, still smiling. I asked him, why keep playing? He said, I can't stop the rain, but I can still play my song. That hit me. I realized I'd been standing there, cursing the storm, instead of learning how to dance in it. So I stopped trying to get my old job back, and started building a freelance career. It wasn't instant magic. Little by little, I felt stronger, clear, and honestly, happier. That's what acceptance and resilience is all about. Acceptance says, this is where I am. Resilience says, let's see how far I can go from here. So, what wave are you riding right now? Whatever it is, don't waste your energy yelling at the water. Stand up, find your balance, and ride it all the way in. Share your story. I'd love to hear how you've kept going. Story. The Mountain and the Climber. There was once a young man who dreamed of climbing the tallest mountain in his country. He wasn't the strongest, the fastest, or the most skilled climber. But he had one thing, an unshakable belief that he could reach the top. On the first day, he set out with excitement. The air was fresh, the sun was warm, and every step felt light. But soon, the trail became steep. The rocks cut his hands, the wind turned cold, and his legs began to burn. Other climbers passed him. Some laughed, saying, "You'll never make it." Others shook their heads. "It's too far. Turn back while you can." Every voice made his backpack feel heavier. He almost believed them. Almost. But then he remembered something his mentor once told him. The mountain is not in your way. The mountain is you. If you conquer your mind, your legs will follow. So he kept going. One step, then another. Days turned into weeks. The weather changed. There were moments he wanted to give up. Moments when the peak disappeared in fog, and it felt pointless to continue. But each time, he would pause, take a breath, and remind himself, the climb is the point, not the peak. One morning, after months of struggle, he finally reached the summit. He looked down at the valleys below, the rivers, the forests, the clouds. It was beautiful, but he realized something surprising. The view was not the real reward. The real reward was knowing he had become a different person on the way up. Stronger, wiser, unbreakable. Lesson: your mindset is the true mountain. Life will test your patience, your strength, and your courage. But if you train your mind to keep going, no obstacle can truly stop you. Story: the samurai and the peasant. Centuries ago, in a small Japanese village, there lived a feared samurai. He was undefeated in battle, known for his skill with the sword, but even more for his uncontrollable temper. One summer afternoon, while visiting the market, a poor peasant accidentally stepped on his foot. The samurai turned sharply. The man bowed, apologizing, but the samurai's pride was wounded. The warrior's hand went to his sword. The crowd went silent, knowing one wrong move would cost the peasant his life. Just then, the samurai remembered a lesson his old master had once whispered. If someone can anger you in seconds, they own you in seconds. The words struck like lightning. He realized that if he drew his sword now, it wouldn't be strength. It would be weakness. He wouldn't be the master of the moment. He'd be a slave to it. Slowly, he let go of the hilt. He looked at the peasant and simply nodded. The man bowed again, trembling with relief. The crowd murmured in disbelief. Self-control is not about suppressing emotions. It's about mastering them. Every time you choose patience over anger, discipline over impulse, you win a battle no one else can see. But that shapes the person you become. Story: the bamboo tree. In a small village, a young farmer planted a bamboo seed. He had heard stories of its incredible strength, how it could grow taller than any other plant and survive the fiercest storms. So, every day he watered it. Every day he checked the soil. Every day, nothing happened. Weeks passed, then months, then a year. Still, no sign of growth. His neighbors began to laugh. "Why waste your time on a dead seed?" they said. "Plant something else, something that grows fast." The young farmer felt doubt creeping in, but something inside him whispered, "Keep going." So he watered and waited. 2 years passed, then 3, then 4. Nothing. By the 5th year, even he wondered if he had been foolish. And then, in the middle of that 5th year, a small green shoot broke through the soil. Within weeks, it shot up. 3 feet, 6 feet, 10 feet. In just 6 weeks, the bamboo grew over 80 feet tall. You see, for 5 long years, the bamboo had been growing, but underground, it had been building a root system strong enough to support its rapid rise. Lesson: adversity is like those years underground. You may not see progress. You may feel stuck. But every struggle, every failure, every lonely day is strengthening your roots, preparing you for the moment you'll rise faster and higher than anyone ever thought possible. Growth doesn't always look like movement. Sometimes it looks like patience, persistence, and faith. Story: the lake and the wind. There was once a monk who lived high in the mountains, far from the noise of the city. Travelers often climbed the long path to his small temple, hoping to find the secret to inner peace. One afternoon, a young man arrived, exhausted and frustrated. He had a good job, a busy life, and people respected him. But inside, his mind felt like a storm. Thoughts, worries, and fears never stopped. "Master," he said, "I've tried everything: meditation, reading, travel, but my heart is never still. How do I find peace?" The monk smiled and led him to a quiet lake nearby. The surface of the lake was calm, reflecting the mountains like a mirror. Then, the monk picked up a stick and stirred the water until it became cloudy and rough. "Look," he said, "can you see your reflection now?" "No," the young man replied. The monk tossed the stick aside. "Now, wait." They stood in silence. Slowly, the ripples faded. The water became still again, and the mountains reappeared in perfect clarity. The monk said softly, "Your mind is like this lake. When you chase every worry, every thought, you stir the waters. Peace is not found by forcing the lake to be still. Peace comes when you let the ripples settle on their own." The young man closed his eyes. For the first time in years, he understood. Inner peace is not something you create. It's something you allow. Lesson: you don't have to control everything to be calm. Step back. Breathe. Let life's ripples settle. The reflection you've been seeking will return on its own. Story: the warrior and the mirror. Long ago, there was a warrior named Kyle. He was the strongest in his kingdom, feared on the battlefield and respected in the courts. Yet despite his victories, Kale felt an emptiness, an unrest he couldn't explain. One night, after returning from war, Kyle visited an old hermit who was said to know the secrets of life. "Master," Kyle said, "I have defeated countless enemies, conquered many lands, and won great honor. Still, I do not feel victorious. The more he looked, the more he realized his real battles had never been fought with swords. They had been fought within, resisting the urge to speak in anger, choosing discipline over comfort, acting with honor when no one was watching. Over weeks, his reflection began to change, not in appearance, but in presence. His gaze became calmer, his movements deliberate, his words measured. When Cale returned to the hermit, the old man smiled. "You have learned," he said. "Self-mastery is not about controlling the world. It's about controlling the one thing that commands your every action, your own mind." From that day on, Cale still fought battles, but his greatest victories were the ones no one else could see. Lesson: true power is not in conquering others, but in conquering yourself. Master your impulses, your ego, and your fears, and you will be undefeatable in any arena. Story: the bridge of bread. In the middle of a bitter winter, a small town lay covered in snow. The river that cut through the town had frozen over, and food was scarce. People stayed inside, guarding what little they had left. At the edge of the town lived an old baker named Elias. He was known for his bread, warm, soft, and fragrant, but also for his solitude. After his wife passed away, he spoke to few people, kept mostly to himself. One morning, Elias looked out his window and saw a thin boy standing in the snow, shivering. The boy's clothes were torn, his face pale. Elias opened the door. "What do you want?" he asked. The boy hesitated. "Not for me," he said. "My little sister, she hasn't eaten in 2 days." Elias could feel the weight of his own hunger. His pantry was almost empty. He could keep the bread for himself and survive a little longer. Or he could give it away and risk having nothing. He went inside, took the last loaf from the shelf, and placed it in the boy's hands. The boy's eyes widened. "Thank you, sir." He turned and ran across the frozen bridge toward the other side of town. A few hours later, there was a knock at Elias' door. When he opened it, he found 3 neighbors standing there, each holding food: potatoes, dried meat, apples. The boy had told everyone what Elias had done, and in a place where no one had been willing to give, his small act had broken the ice in people's hearts. By nightfall, the once empty pantry was full again. Lesson: